And hey, Facebook, look, we're back. It's Monday. It is 5:33 Eastern, and we've got a lot to talk about. Pam says,
oh my gosh, so much. So much. I'm still tired, my friends.
And I stayed offside, so I'll give you 10 minutes of what that is like.
Spoiler alert, Mike didn't like it.
Did I think I was nice for the fact that it was a business trip. We went down there for cheerleading. I was there to make Mallory proud and happy, and we did. But oh gosh, I sound like a snob, but yeah, okay, fine, I am, because I'm never, ever, ever staying offside again. Ever.
You're allowed to be. I did it once, way for just like the beginning of my trip, because I couldn't get anything on site. This is way back when. And it was such a bad experience. I rarely go off-site anymore when I'm down there. It's like, I can't do it.
I had to ask for extra towels for my tears. No, I didn't ask for extra towels. I don't know if I'd have got them. But there was a lot.
There was that much crying. Huh?
Hashtag $400 in Ubers.
Oh.
I'm saying. Yes. Well, Mallory came in 4th in the country, so they did great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. 31 teams made it in their division to Summit, and they came in 4th. And 3,000 teams tried to qualify for Summit, and then it was down to 31 finalists, and they came in 4th. So they did really, really good. Super proud.
Wow.
There were tears, though, because, of course, if you came in top 3, if you came in first, you got a national championship ring, every girl. If you came in top 3, you get, like, they give these gigantic banners, like they hang at the, like, you know, for like the arenas, you know, like
yeah,
teams like NHL and NBA, like they give a gigantic banner that goes to your gym. So they got that for coming in 4th in the country. But if you come in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, every girl got one for their bedroom. So of course they came in 4th. I'm like, I knew when they started announcing it, I was like, they're going to get 4th. I just know it, because they're going to be, that's just the story of like my sporting, like Mizzou is always that close. Cardinals, well, Cardinals win. The Blues, they're gonna blow it again. Like they're that close right now. Like it just, I knew it, and there it was, boy. And there was just you got 11-year-old girls. I'm like, you got 4th in the country. What do you want?
That's awesome.
We wanted a banner.
No. And all the parents rejoiced. They were like, "Thank God, no banner."
I was just like, let's go to the Magic Kingdom. Let's get out of here. Go to Walt Disney World. We only got like 24 hours left. Let's roll. No, I don't care. I don't want to go right. You are 4th in the country. I don't think I was ever 4th in the country in anything in my life.
That's awesome, though.
Gosh, it was awesome. So yeah, we're going to talk about that on Friday. We're going to take questions first. We've got lots of good questions. So let's get at it. Ricky's at Daytona Beach. I know, Amy, here's the deal. I have not watched a Blues game the entire season. Not one, because they've ripped my heart out so many times. I can't get invested. And you know what? I'm thinking if it's the one year I don't watch, they'll win the Cup. And we are down to the 4 teams. So we're further than the Penguins, which is hard to believe. But there you go. I do have my Penguin shirt, though, for the cruise. I cannot wait. I've got that bad boy's down towards the end, so I don't forget it.
I may or may not have hidden Steve's.
Oh, no, I got to make sure that thing works its magic, because it's got to be the shirt. I can't wait. You're going to see some great pictures, people. The podcast cruise. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I just can't stop thinking about it. Okay, we got to do this for it. We got to get to work. I know you're here not to hear all this junk. All right, let me pull the question here. I got a good question to start with. Okay, here we Paige. Who's that? The other 3rd person, Ricky. She's in Daytona Beach, so she'll be back next time. Why'd you go to Daytona Beach for Mother's Day?
Yes, she had her mother-in-law there with her, and I guess they did some Disney World, and then they went to,
yeah, I guess
Daytona Beach.
But they're from Jefferson City, Missouri. That's why I was confused. But I guess they're just on vacation. Anyway,
she's like spring breaking.
That's it. I heard it gets crazy over there.
Oh yeah, they're in a convertible with the top down, and riding on the beach.
I've heard, yeah, you can ride dirty in Daytona Beach. So I watch a lot of live PD. All right, here we go. This is for Friday, this is the pre-show for Friday. This is Wednesday. Here we go.
Yeah. Why is Greene County always on live PD?
That is one person
after another.
That is where Matt Parrish lives. Okay, so just for the record,
can we blame it on Matt?
That's 3028 country and partially Wedway radio country down there. No, they're still Missourians. But I'll tell you what, if you St. Louis, they'd just be people get murdered. So it wouldn't be as exciting. It'd just be dead people. I mean, St. Louis is kind of a bad
man.
place. So yeah, it's our state's a little rough right now. We're working on it.
You feature prominently on Live PD. Let me just say that.
Not
and the Rhode Island folks. Don't the Rhode Island folks totally crack you up?
Last thing I want to talk about, if that lady from Rhode Island pulled me over, I'd say, give me the death penalty before she talks me to death, because I'd rather go to the chair than have her talk to me for 30 minutes. She just wears people out just talking to them. My wife was always like, oh, it's that lady from Rhode Island. She's going to talk us to death all night. And I'm like, yep, she is.
Soon you'll see Mike and I will be starting a Live PD podcast. There's got to be a market for that, right?
Yeah, we could ride along with them on the air.
Gosh.
It's so funny because
yes,
goats last week and like, oh, how can I go see the goats? Oh, they're so big. I'm like, dude, chase somebody. Like Live PD isn't live goats.
Phil, we like Rhode Island. It helps make Live PD. It helps make Live PD every week. Some of the crimes that come up with there's a lot of folks that need help because they've drank too much.
Well, and I'll tell you what, because I talk to I have a favorite agent at Disney Cruise Line I talk to all the time. And she is a huge Live PD fan because sometimes I call it on Friday and Saturday nights, like before they close, and Live PD's on the first hour. And she loves Officer Curly from Rhode Island. Like she's got the huge thing for Officer Curly. So we're always talking. She knows him better than I do. It's scary. Like I don't know. So
you know who my favorite is? Danny Brown.
Danny Brown, he's pretty cool. I like Loriano out of Richland. Richland County is my favorite. And they're all great. And then I also like Grayson Kennedy in Texas. That dude, like in one show, he'll arrest like 17 people. Like that guy wants to arrest the entire state of Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, your tail light's not bright enough. I'm putting you in cuffs. That guy loves being a cop. I love that show.
It is a fun show. It's a fun show.
Anyway, let's get to
all right.
Oh yeah, that is fun though.
I know.
Okay, back to topic. This is like my high school career. This is why I always sat in the hall, because I would get the teacher talking about stuff that was never on topic, especially in Spanish class. I remember Dr. Stevenson, Miguel, out in the hall. Out in the hall. That was it. And then I used to run into her at Las Fuentes all the time after I graduated. So kind of funny.
Fuentes.
All right, here we go. I've said this 17 times. So this is for real. Okay. Welcome to episode 1485 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope this day is finding you well. You had a great Mother's Day weekend a couple of days ago to all the awesome moms out in the Be Our Guest Podcast community, and we're here to answer your listener questions. Ricky is still down in Daytona Beach. Who knows? She still thinks she's 18, so I guess she's having spring break a little late out. I don't know. Maybe she's getting ready for the 500 next year. Who knows? We'll have her back next week. But we have Pam Forrester back from Walt Disney World joining us to talk some Disney, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. What's going on, Pam?
Well, okay. First of all, I have to say, we're 15 episodes away from 1,500.
Holy cow.
How did that happen?
I'm just saying, because we do this 3 times a week. That's why, because I haven't had a life for 10 years, 11 years.
It's just God bless all you folks who will listen to us week after week. We so appreciate the support. I'm not sure that I would listen to us week after week. I don't know. Who am I kidding? I would. It's kind of, it's kind of like being in a relationship with us. It's like you're our pseudo significant other. I know that you tune me out all the time, and that you guys tune in. That kind of says something. My wife tunes me out and you guys tune in. So there you go. Well, it's like, thank you for helping our other relationships all these years, because now at least we don't have quite the level of our spouses and family members being annoyed with us talking Disney so much, right? I mean, I think I don't know, Steve must have rolled his eyes a million times when I'm like, did you read this new thing about this thing at Disney? Did you read about the gondolas and that there's 55 different designs and I want to ride in all of them?
That's right. We should try that. That's the new challenge. Hit all the
know, right? I know. We've been talking about that with the agents. Some of us are very excited about riding in the gondolas. So anyways.
Rumor has it we might. We don't know anything official. This doesn't make
No.
But maybe one of us will be there when they go online. I'm thinking. I heard something. It's unofficial, but I'm optimistic. I just want to ride those things. I'm more excited about those than Galaxy's Edge, and I'm excited for Galaxy's Edge.
You're not more excited for those.
They're going to be easier to get on. I know I can get my butt in a gondola. I don't know if I can get my butt in the Millennium Falcon. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. You won't need a fast pass for the gondola.
Anyway, yeah. All right, let's get to the questions. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Brent's got a question. Just came in. I think it's a great question. He says, hey, guys, love the podcast and have been listening since we took our daughter to Disney World for her 3rd birthday back in January. I have a question since I've never stayed on property before. We have a big group that usually goes and we rent a house off-site. However, we still want to visit some of the resorts and explore. What are the 2 to 3 best ones for us to visit with kids 3, 5, and 8? Any other info that would help is much appreciated on visiting resorts. Brent's from Raleigh, North Carolina. He says, go Canes. All right. So let's tackle this one. First of all, Brent, Friday, I'm going to give just a few minutes about my offsite stay and why the many, many benefits of staying on site for your Walt Disney World vacation. And there are a plethora of reasons to stay on site if you can make it happen. And I will talk about that on Friday because it was out of my hands. The cheerleading group booked the hotel. We stayed in a Disney Springs resort, didn't have some of the benefits that I'm typically used to. So if you can on your next trip, give it a shot, stay on site and really be immersed in the magic 24/7. But Pam, I wanted to ask you about this. I thought we would kind of break this down. Give your best value, moderate, and deluxe for kids in that kind of preschool to elementary age that I think they would get the most out of a stay on site, not just visiting, but staying there. What would you say?
So right now, my favorite value resort without question is Pop Century.
Oh, me too.
I mean, the rooms have been redone. They look great. They are more spacious. They have coffee makers, the list goes on and on. Plus, I love Pop Century's location. It's really right there in the middle of the magic. And you can walk over to Art of Animation. So you have the benefit of having access to 2 different food courts. And I think that's a plus too. So that's my top value. My top moderate right now, again, no surprise, Coronado.
We're on the same wavelength. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Because these are the right answers, my friend.
That's right.
So anyways, Coronado has gone through an extensive rehab, and we all know that Gran Destino Tower is opening up. But in addition to having Gran Destino Tower open up, they have addressed some of the issues that made people maybe not fall in love with Coronado. Like I've been in love with Coronado since I first stayed there years ago. The distance from walking from one side of the resort to the other is going to be pretty much sliced in half with the addition of these 3 bridges. Plus, you're going to have this little island out there called 3 Bridges that's going to have a fantastic eatery on it. It's going to have a great location. And Mike, did you know that the check-in location, when Gran Destino Towers opens up, the check-in location is not going to be where it is right now. It's going to be over in Gran Destino Towers. Everyone is going to have the opportunity to check in for their stay in that beautiful new lobby. So I think that that's something that's a huge plus too, but they've really, really worked to make so many positive changes in these Gran Destino Towers and Coronado as a whole. So I think it's absolutely worth going to. They've done some different things with dining. And then in terms of staying at one of the deluxe resorts, this is rough because there are so many that are such great choices. But I think when you have little ones, it is such a benefit to be on the monorail loop. It just really is. And I think that so many kids really enjoy staying at the Polynesian. So that would be my number 1 recommendation for families.
Yeah, I was going to go the same. Pop Century, Coronado, for the reasons you stated. Also, Coronado, with that age group of kids, that pool's amazing. The dig site is just incredible. They got the little splash area, but they just have, the Jaguar slide. I still go down. 45. Scott goes down all the time with his daughter. We have a great time. And, for the adults, there's a nice siesta pool bar right there. They have, a few hot items, some nice drinks. It's just, it's really got it all. It's just beautiful. A lot of table service dining there. The Mercado at Del Coronado is really good for families. But as far as the deluxe resorts, I was thinking was 2. I would say Yacht Club or Beach Club because of Stormalong Bay. Great location. You can walk to the studios or Epcot or take a friendship boat. And also Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's just so unique, and kids love animals, and you could just make a day. You could make 3 days out of not even going to the parks. So
there are so many great choices in that deluxe category, and it's all about the theming. I think if you choose a theme that really appeals to you and your family, then you can't lose.
All right. Next question comes from Dallas. He said, let's see, I need opinions. We have a trip booked for September 23rd through October 1st. Family of 5, 2 adults, a 16-year-old, 9-year-old, and a rambunctious 3-year-old. Aren't all 3-year-olds pretty much rambunctious? Yes. I'm guessing. She says, there are flights on Southwest, our preferred airline, mine too, for mid-afternoon, but really late enough that it seems like a waste. We have found a flight the previous night landing at 9 p.m. If we booked that flight, where can we go? I thought about booking a hotel within a few miles of MCO, shuttling back super early and jumping on Magical Express. Can we do that? Should we rent a car? If we do, I feel like I heard about a car rental place at Disney. Is that true? The flight will save us $125 by coming in the previous night, but my thoughts are getting to Disney first. Think that I'm rather than wasting a whole night. Okay, let me just, it's kind of a jumble there. Or should we just suck it up and get that midday arrival flight and pretty much waste our first day? Having the 3-year-old is our big issue. We will need a car seat. I hope this makes sense. You guys are so awesome, and thank you for your thoughts. Dallas. Okay, so I took this one because I wanted to address this, because I think many of us have this situation where, you know, some people have limited flights down to Orlando. You know, you can't just pick the exact time you're going to land. And sometimes you have multiple options, but you can save, you know, $100 here, $200 there. And if you have, you know, a family of 5, that could be a big chunk of change. Here's my thoughts on this. Okay. And Pam, I think you're going to agree with me because we think a lot alike on this. I like to be, even if I'm going to arrive at 9:00 p.m. Okay. I still do that and stay at my hotel where the package is going to be. I'll add the night on because there's so much to be said for getting there, getting in your room, getting things settled, getting that good night's sleep. If you can be in bed by 10 o'clock, you can hit the ground running the next day. You're excited. You're ready to go. I don't, because Dallas mentioned a waste. I don't think it's a waste. I think that I know what he's saying. Like you're paying for like a full day and you're getting there for like the last 3 hours, but I think it benefits you so much to be there on site, ready to roll, and your vacation is off to a great start. Where that next morning, if you get there early, you're kind of, you're jumping around, you're trying to get too many variables in the air, and a lot of things can go wrong. If you're there settled, the next day is just so much better. So I still would arrive at 9:00 at night.
I would too. That would be mine. That's always my preference. You get there, you get to settle in. Even if you can't, you know, I would try to stay at the resort you're going to stay at starting the next day. If you have a package, you can always add on a room only option to that. If you can't do that, I would stay at another Disney resort, and I will tell you why. Because then you're there, you're on Disney property. And even from that point, I think you're closer to getting everything started. You can go there, check in, get all your stuff. But I'm totally with Mike. I like to start the vacation right then, as soon as I can, and be at the resort that I'm going to be at, check in, start putting stuff away in my room. I mean, you know how that takes you a little bit of time to sort of, get acclimated to everything. Get some Disney food that evening, right?
Yeah,
that sort of starts the vacation.
That's exactly what we do. We try to get there before the food court or because if you get there like after midnight, it's closed. But, even just grabbing a cupcake or a tie-dyed cheesecake, I mean, that tells you we are on vacation. We're at Walt Disney World. We're pumped. And it gets you, and then you have the cupcake, you go to bed, and you're just so excited for the next day.
For me, it is very challenging to put a price on time. Especially on vacation. Like, my regular time's important. My vacation time is like knock it out of the ballpark important. It is worth so much to me. So anytime I have the option to save a little time and everything else, I will do that. I absolutely will. And we almost always fly in the night before our vacation is technically supposed to start. So,
because if you think about it, I know that, a lot of folks have limited vacation time from their jobs. So a lot of times you can work the full day, get off at 4 or 5 o'clock, head to the airport, and most places, not every place, but most places in the country, probably, east of the Mississippi, you could be down at Walt Disney World by 9 or 10. And that way you don't lose the vacation day at home. You're settled. There's a lot of reasons to do it. And I mean, overall for the vacation package, it's not going to cost you that much. And like Pam says, time is money. You know, it makes your experience, because you just don't want to be chasing so many things at 8 o'clock the next morning because you saved a couple $100. You know, I agree. Look at it that way. All right. And let's see. Eric was asking, will Disney transfer your luggage to the other hotel for you? Absolutely. And that's a great service. But I mean, you got to also pack a day bag, because you want to make sure you have the things that you need. It's kind of like going on a cruise when you arrive on the ship. You want to have the necessities with you, because it can take a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's a great service, especially if you're doing a split stay. You're the queen of the splits.
Boy, that sounded like a whole different show.
You're all wrong. Let's talk cheerleading again. Yeah.
Exactly. But no, when we are down there, just because I want to experience each hotel, I mean, it's really easy to learn. Like, you know, you say I took a course and I learned about Coronado Springs. It's a completely different ball game to stay there for a few days so that you experience it and you know what works and what doesn't, and all of those things. So we do our best to stay a few nights at each hotel. About every 2 years we do it. We make sure that we stay at all of them, just to see how everything's going. So we do a split stay all the time. Disney will transfer your luggage for you. You can also get Uber, Lyft, minivans to do that. No, I'm not going to. I think I'm way past my split time, Eric. I'm just saying. I don't know. There's a question. Can we see Pam do a split? I think that ship may have sailed for me.
We were just talking before we started recording. We were talking about the NBA experience and how one of the things apparently you can do is dunk. And I said, okay, there's going to be a lot of dudes my age that still think they're 18, and that I know that they're going to have it modified so you don't hit yourself. But I'm saying if they had a 10-foot rim, and they have people like me that say, oh, man, I can run the Dopey challenge. I can dunk. They better have Concentra on site, because I'm going to lose a hamstring, an Achilles tendon, and probably my shoulder going for that dunk, because I still picture myself at assembly my junior year. You know?
It's the dunking experience, sponsored by Celebration Hospital.
That's synergy right there is what that is.
Right?
I'm just saying. I love this stuff. All right, let's get to the next question. I hate to say it, but I mean, I got to say her name. It's from Alexa. My thing just turned on. Okay, hang on, mute. Okay, sorry. Hi, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. I'm emailing as I'm sitting at my desk suffering from post-Disney depression. I visited the world last week with my family, and it was the best trip ever. We were asked to be the grand marshals of the Festival of Fantasy Parade. Was epic. Yeah, it's hard to recover from that.
I know, right? Like, you go from doing this to being like, crap, I got to get up and go to work.
Well, to be fair, she should lead the parade at her work, like down to the
there you go,
lunchtime or something. You know, like grand marshal of the getting the peanut butter and cheese crackers today.
Right. I don't know that it'll have the same appeal, but it's worth a shot.
It's like an old Starbucks commercial. You need the band behind you going, Mike. That's how it is. Anyway, she says, also my first time experiencing flower and garden, which makes me want to try food and wine. I know it's been a while, but it was great meeting you and Ricky at the Indy Disney meet. I've moved to Houston since then, but definitely plan on going back for it each year. I recently joined the Lizards and I'm running my first Dopey in 2020. Congratulations.
Good for you.
Awesome. My mom is also going to be coming down to cheer me on and hang out at the parks. We are trying to figure out the best resort to stay at for the Dopey trip, and I wondered if you had any suggestions. I know you are partial to Riverside, and I've been looking there and French Quarter, but I wondered if it's worth it to splurge for a deluxe resort to have the comfiest beds to sleep in each night before the races. I've been to Disney many times, but have only stayed on property once at Saratoga. I know you can't reserve rooms yet for January. Yes, you can, actually. But any advice you have would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your awesome episodes to keep me going all week long. I'm not going to say
you know. You know who you are.
Sorry about that. Anyway, so just for the record, a couple things. We can book rooms now, room-only reservations for 499 days out. So just send me an email over at the Magic for Less, and we'll get you squared away, get you some pricing. We can hold a room with just the first night's deposit. You're set. It's good to lock in that room now because, you know, there's a little thing happening in late August that's really making the rooms fly off the shelf sometimes. But I will say too, this will be my 5th Dopey. I could sleep on a bed of nails some night. So I like the way you're thinking. That's how I'm not after, getting ready for my first Dopey. Pam, you've been down there for the race weekends. You've been all over the place because you really do get out there just as much as us cheering, the logistics of it all, what would you suggest? Because you got to think about her mom too. Her mom's going as a spectator.
That's the thing. So I think more important than the comfort of beds for the runners is the ability to access easy transportation for everybody, right? And I feel like, especially during marathon weekend, the two hotels that really sort of have the market on that are, well, first of all, the Yacht and Beach Club, which I'll consider one, because you can walk to and from Epcot, and that really makes it easy for the spectators to do that. In addition, Polynesian does as well, because you can walk to the TTC from the Polynesian, and that really becomes helpful with some locations to cheer and just getting back and forth. So those are two of my favorite resorts to stay at on a running or race weekend.
The good news is, though, if you're looking for obviously the deluxes are going to have the softest towels, the best. We're going to go by the toilet paper, the nicest toilet paper, it's a deluxe resort. But I'm going down solo. I'm staying at Pop Century this marathon weekend just because it will have the Skyliner available to us just as an extra thing. Pop Century has a great food court. It's going to fit my needs considering I'm going solo. And I love Pop's like where I grew up. So I love that. But the good news is back in the day, with some of the races, you had to think about, is this a host resort? So you had to make sure, like one time I stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, didn't realize it wasn't a host resort, had to take my first taxi cab and had an amazing race-like experience where I paid the guy to go up over the curb to get me in there in time. It was crazy. Probably shouldn't have said that. But I felt like I was like, oh, I was the first cab ride of my life. I'm from the Midwest. I got to make this exciting.
He made it happen.
He did, man. That guy was good. But, now they're all host resorts. You don't have to, the transportation is awesome. You always want to be on site for a race weekend, especially something like Dopey. You're getting up super early, 4 days in a row. And for the fact that that a warm motor coach is going to be picking you up, they're going to get you there in plenty of time to start the race. And you can get on that bus and just go back to sleep for 30 minutes. I'm not kidding. It sounds stupid, but it is still 3:30 in the morning and it's warm and it's dark and you're tired. So it's really nice to have that out of your hands. You're not trying to get to the start. You're not trying to drive a car, park it, hail an Uber at that time of the morning. It's pretty sweet. So, and yes, James J in the chat, he's asking if when you do ADRs, can you do the whole stay at 180 for check-in, or do you have to do it one day at a time? You can do the whole thing. So just make
if you're on site.
If you're on site, yeah, if you're on site, that's what I'm guessing, because he would be on site. Just want to make sure because he's probably heading to Taco Bell. All right, next, check this one out, Pam. A question for the podcast from Cape Town, South Africa.
What?
I know. We're all over the world. I love podcasting.
That's crazy.
She says, hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. I'm a fan of the show all the way from Cape Town, South Africa, and even a bigger fan of Disney World. Initially, I was planning a trip for Walt Disney World in September of 2019, anticipating lower crowds before Galaxy's Edge opens. With living so far away and living in a third world economy, it's not possible to travel often, so it'll be the last trip for about 4 to 5 years' time. It isn't possible to stay on property, so I'll be staying off-site in Disney World and Universal Studios over a 2-week period. She's visiting those two. I was disappointed to hear the Galaxy's Edge is opening early with specials like EEMAs. So we got a new acronym here. So extra magic hours.
Right.
Let's throw a 30 in there. Make them.
I know, right? Extra.
Anyway. And I'm concerned that it'll just be too busy and rope drop not being an option to beat the masses before they come in. I'm considering partially moving the trip to May of 2020. I prefer to go as soon as possible, being in September, but if the crowds might be more manageable in May of 2020, I would prefer to move it. What do you think, Kirsten? So let's talk this through, because now there's a lot of dynamics going on for the fall and the remainder of 2019 down at Walt Disney World, especially once Galaxy's Edge opens on August 31st. Of course, we've been talking about this for years. We expect the crowds to be large at the studios because this is going to be an amazing experience. And we'll talk about that on Friday because you got a little peek behind the curtain. But what do you say to folks like this? This is a pretty common question we're getting, and a question that I think a lot of people that typically travel in the fall time are pondering. Do I go this fall or do I wait till next spring, summer? What do you say to this?
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Answer, because the thing is,
you're asking me to look in a crystal ball and tell you.
That's it. That's kind of why I want to have the conversation on our Facebook page. Like, what would you do? So we'll talk about this throughout.
I know it's true, but there's so many things to think about. If there just really are. Is September going to be better or worse than May? You could delay your trip to May, and May could be way more busy than September is, because at that point, both attractions will be open.
Yes.
People who don't go all the time will be planning their trips for May, or, or their spring breaks, or sometimes in May or something like that, so they can experience both of them. It is really hard to anticipate what Galaxy's Edge is going to do. It just really is. I'm inclined to believe that I wouldn't change any of my plans, because I think it requires second guessing in a way that we're not able to do right now. I just do. I don't know that it will impact. I don't know if the crowds will impact all the other parks. We just don't know that yet. So
here's how I look at this, because I try to think about things and, what would I do? And she's in a tough spot because, think about it. She's coming from the other side of the world.
I know.
And it's not as accessible as it is for you from Pittsburgh, for me from St. Louis, a couple hours plane flight. That's, semi-economical, hop on Southwest and you're down there. So right. I get it. You want to make the biggest bang for your buck if you're only going every 4 or 5 years. That's true. But I'm kind of with Pam that, you could put things off and say, well, it might be better in May of 2020, or maybe if I wait till September of 2020, or maybe in 2021. But the thing is, we have a lot of landmark events happening. You got the 50th of Walt Disney World coming up very soon too, which we'll be celebrating, which is going to draw people in because we're going to get lots of new things to see there. You got Mickey's Runaway Railway.
I know.
So many cool things. The Guardians of the Galaxy coaster over at Epcot, Ratatouille. This is what I love about Walt Disney World. That's why I love doing this podcast. It's dynamic. It's exciting. There's so much to do. And so I always kind of say, I think about it like when you're trying to think about like your cell phone, okay, like your iPhone. I think a lot of people are like, right now, like you could go get an iPhone XS, and that's like the latest and greatest. But then some people say, well, in September, there's going to be an iPhone 11, but then so they don't buy it, and so then they don't use a cool phone from now till September. But then in September, all of a sudden, you're probably thinking, oh man, all of a sudden my phone's going to be obsolete, like next September.
Right.
So you could always wait for the next anticipated greatest thing. But I think the thing is, a lot of folks miss out on the here and now, and Walt Disney World is going to be a great place in September. I wouldn't wait.
Yeah, that's really how I've been leaning too. I just think about, when you think, of course, we're all Disney fans, right? But you think about the general population, who absolutely makes up more of the visitors at Walt Disney World than the rest of us probably do. They probably didn't have an opportunity to alter their plans to go for Galaxy's Edge opening, right? They have their vacation sort of planned out. They know when they're going to go. They know whatever. So I think that that's the thing you have to think about, that it may not be as bad in the fall as some people anticipate. So,
yeah, you could put things off forever. And I think that you just don't want to do that. You're going to have a great trip. As much as I was complaining about this offsite thing, I had an awesome time. Like I explored Disney Springs more than I would have because of the proximity that was, near my hotel. It was 3 hotels down across the street, but I got to Disney Springs a lot and I got to try some new restaurants. We spent a lot of time there, and I'm not a shopper. I kind of don't like that kind of stuff, but I liked it. And I explored Saratoga Springs. It was right there. So there's so many opportunities that I think that a lot of times we can worry about the negative, but if you just look at it glass half full, you're going to have an amazing time. And I don't even think you have to think about it that way, but I think you will have a great time. So
I agree.
All right. Sarah's got a question here in the live chat. She says, what should I do about breakfast pre-opening for our B-Hour guest restaurant at 8:35 a.m. in September with the new extra magic hours? Should I still do it? Again, this is kind of the same thing. I know a lot of folks are thinking, man, I made this pre-park opening breakfast reservation. I'm going to be in the Magic Kingdom before it opens and get some pictures by the castle. And now all of a sudden it's opening at 7 a.m. That's not going to happen, but you're going to be our guest. You're going to have an awesome breakfast. It's still not going to be crazy crowded. Definitely do it. That's going to be a great meal. I think that we can't overthink things, but it's just me.
I agree. For me, I wasn't one to make the early reservations in hopes of getting the good pictures. We actually made them at a time that I thought would really work for us. I like Be Our Guest. I like the setting. I think if you're on the dining plan, it's an awesome use of a quick service credit. And I just think there's a lot to really enjoy there. So go and enjoy. Look at the menu. Make sure you like it, but go and enjoy the food. So
absolutely. All right. The next email says a little something extra. It's from Caitlin in Ohio. She's actually in Stowe, Ohio, 1,030 miles from the world, which is, I'm 1,021. So we're just almost the same. Hello there. It's Scott. You know, you're a crazy Disney fan when you know exactly how many miles you are. And that's from Pop Century, by the way, because I used to drive it all the time. So I'm 1,021 miles from Pop Century.
That's funny.
For record. She says, hello there. Your podcast was a tremendous help as I was planning mine and my husband's honeymoon last summer. And I've started listening routinely again now that I'm in the early stages for our next trip. In early mid June 2020, my husband and I are planning on taking my little sister, who'll be 11, on her first trip to the world. I'm wanting to do something a little special or extra for her while we're there. I'm weighing the early morning magic at Fantasyland versus happily ever after fireworks dessert party with garden plaza viewing for best view of the castle projections. They're somewhat comparably priced, but I'm trying to decide which one would be the best value. We are having to go in early mid-June due to school schedules, which I know is extremely busy. It was when we went last year and I felt it was so difficult to see the fireworks show with no dessert party without being trampled or stampeded. Will the dessert party viewing really help alleviate this? Or is it a better value regardless to pay for the early morning magic, even with the crowds in June? Thanks for all you do, Kate. So I will tell you this, and Pam can back me up on this. The dessert parties, you have plenty of, you can lay down because they have like a little kind of garden area roped off for you. And you can sprawl out if you want. I mean, you could do snow angels in June on the fake grass and still have plenty of space. So if space is your thing, you're getting that with the happily ever after dessert party, and you're getting great desserts, and you're getting a good view. It's really kind of if you want to feel like a VIP in the Magic Kingdom for the fireworks show, that's it. That being said, she's also considering early morning magic at the Magic Kingdom for Fantasyland. I haven't done that one, Pam. What do you say to she's trying to find the best thing for her 11-year-old sister.
I know. And these are tough choices. I mean, we've talked about them. Like Mike, I really enjoy the dessert party. I think it's a great way to see those fireworks. It just really is. It made me not have to stand, up around the partner statue trying to find, the perfect spot. I really enjoyed that. But the early morning magic has been getting such great reviews from everyone who has attended. I did the one at Hollywood Studios just a couple weeks ago, and I really thought it was fantastic. And it also saved me a lot of fast pass usage. Yes. Like, especially I would think Hollywood Studios, it does, because those are tier 1 attractions there. So that saves a ton of fast pass usage. But even at the Magic Kingdom, think about if you can go and ride those attractions, and then you get to have fast passes for other things throughout the day. You don't have to get them for Seven Dwarfs. You don't have to get them for Peter Pan. That's a huge bonus too. And it includes the breakfast as well. So again, that's a really hard choice for me.
Here's the thing too. Rachel in our live chat, she just said early morning magic Fantasyland is amazing. Walk on so many rides. It's wonderful. Here's another thing I want to consider, because I happen to have an 11-year-old girl in the house. Her name's Mel. You also got to consider that do you want to poke the bear and get her up super early? Because some 11-year-olds might not be as exciting as you think it is. And I hate to say this, but I mean, and it is exciting. I've had to do this with Mallory. Maybe it's because we go too much. I don't know. But I'm like, let's go, man. Let's go to Extra Magic Hours. Like I'm up at 4:30. I've already run. I'm showered. I'm like, get out of bed. Let's go. The day's wasting. I'm like, what's her name? Not Elsa, Anna on Frozen. Like, the sun's awake. I'm awake. Let's roll. But the rest of my girls, they're not so much morning people. So an 11-year-old girl may not be so hip to getting up early for that, but I mean, she might be a night, somebody that likes to stay up late and really like the fireworks. So I mean, also consider her personality, I would say.
I think too. And the other thing you talked about was the crowds around the fireworks. They're there, but I will also say, since Disney has expanded that hub area, they do an amazing job with crowd control. They really and truly do. I think that they make people keep moving, and they just do a great job with that. So we're not much help in this area because we've really talked up both of these things. So we probably made it harder rather than easier to decide. But they're both good choices.
The thing is, you can't go wrong. I mean, I've told this to a lot of my guests at the Magic for Less when we're kind of having these debates over, a voicemail or, a phone call or a email or what have you. The thing is, I can give what I think, but I mean, it's really comes down to what the expectations are of the guest, and really one or the other is going to be amazing. Like, even if you make the right choice, you're going to have the best time ever. So it's a situation.
It's like, which is the worst of these two awesome choices?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't go wrong. But
I don't know.
Just, if they don't like getting up early in the morning, though, maybe do the fireworks. That's the only thing I can think to kind of delineate the two. So. And all right, Brenda's got a good question in the live chat here. Brenda Kaba, thanks for joining us here live on Facebook. I have two girls, 9 and 3. Is doing acro shoes and Cinderella's roll table too much, or both a must do? Here's the thing. Okay, so it depends. To me, it depends. Like, are you going to go back? Because maybe you do one on one trip, one on another trip, and maybe have them look at pictures or maybe the menus and see which one they're more excited. I will say that I think acro shoes, especially on the Disney dining plan, another reason to get the Disney dining plan is it is a huge value on the dining plan. That was my go. When I have the dining plan, we go to that's one of the big ones, because you are getting a lot of bang for your buck there. Now, of course, Cinderella's roll table is a signature to credits per person. It's amazing, though. I mean, how many times can you say I woke up in the morning, had breakfast in Cinderella Castle in the middle of the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World? So it's kind of like a life goal for some of us Disney fans.
I know, I agree. And the other thing you could do is you could do one for dinner and one for breakfast. And again, Akershus is still just one credit for dinner on the dining plan. That's, once you start working with a guest and you see they have a couple, character meals or all you can eat meals, you're like, okay, it's time for you to start looking at the dining plan, because you don't understand. I understand your child is 9 and they only eat 3 bites of things. They're going to charge you the full, the 9-year-old price, whether your child eats a bite of something or 3 bites. At least with the dining plan, you can sort of, temper that a little bit, and you still have quick service and stuff like that to do. But, Hannah was the kind of girl that we could have gone to Cinderella's royal table in the morning, Akershus for lunch, and then finish up with Chef Mickey's. She loved the characters. So I think, see what your girls have to say about that.
And I appreciate, let's see who was, Eric being here in the live chat. He says, Akershus, bless you, never gets old. There you go. I love that. Tim's being very pragmatic. Akershus right next to Frozen Ever After. There you go. Boom.
That's true. That's true.
I love our listeners. They're smarter than we are. And that's why.
That's good. I think that's why we've been around for 1,500 episodes.
That's why we hang out with a live chat room, because you guys are awesome. All right, the next question. I like the title of this one. Margaritas or beignets? There you go.
Why are we choosing? The answer is both.
Yeah, exactly. The answer is yes.
Yes.
Let's see what she says. Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. I'm headed down to Walt Disney World in October with my boyfriend. We're trying to decide on a hotel and are between Port Orleans, French Quarter, Riverside, or Coronado Springs. I get it. We stayed at Riverside a few years ago and absolutely loved it. I'm wondering if we should stick to what we love, move over to French Quarter to try that out for the first time, or go to Coronado Springs. I've stayed at Coronado once a few years ago, but it was pre-refurbishments, so I don't think I got the full experience. Thanks for all you do. I look forward to your show every week. Megan, I say go to Coronado. As much as I love Riverside and French Quarter, you love it. You said you love it as well. It's a great resort. I'm going to be there next month myself. But I think, try something a little bit different. It's been a while since you've been to Coronado. Go over there and have a margarita and have a flight over at Maya Grill for me. What do you think?
I'll give a plug here. I'll pretend like I'm Ricky and say, go over to the Mouse for Less, because they have some great pictures of Coronado, the new rooms there. And I will say, I think those rooms are worth making the change to that resort. I think those rooms alone are making the switch to Coronado. Then you add in the fact that there's going to be all kinds of stuff like the new restaurants, the new lobby, the new tower. I can't, I don't know. I'm a Coronado fan, like so much. So I think that, Riverside and French Quarter have basically been the same. I mean, with some updates definitely to the room, but I think the change at Coronado has been dramatic and it has been meaningful to the guests who are staying there. So I think if I were you, I'd give Coronado a shot.
Here's the hack. And we'll talk about this a little bit on Friday. It's going to be mostly about Pam, but I got like 5 minutes to share what I did. So we were off site, but I made sure that we ate at Olivia's so I could go to Old Key West and soak it in.
Right.
We ate at Maya Grill we ate there on Cinco de Mayo, and we got the ADR that day. Like, so.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's a Mexican restaurant. So we have fajitas, margarita flights. It was awesome.
Was Smooth Jazz guy there?
He was not there. I don't know. I know. It's like the biggest day of the year. Where was he? I love that guy. And of course, we were there with some other. No, we didn't go there with Cheer Moms. Who was I showing that to? I think I was showing it to the lady that checked us in. I'm like, see, I'm friends with the Smooth. Yeah, I was showing it to the hostess. I was like, I'm friends with the Smooth Jazz guy. See, here's the photo with him here. Because on Google Photos, if you type in Maya Grill, it'll pull up all your pictures.
Yep. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy pictures. Anyway, so yeah, go to Coronado. All right. Last question of the day. This is another kind of crystal ball question. Here we go. Thoughts on Hollywood Studios Extra Magic Hours. Hey, Mike and BOGP crew. I'm sure by now you've seen the park hours for September and October. Hollywood Studios is opening at 6 a.m. for extra magic hours every day. In Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, we're opening at 7 a.m. every day, or at least as far as I can tell. It looks like Disney is doing their best to accommodate record crowds for Galaxy's Edge opening. Obviously, I know you can't predict what's going to happen, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts, gut reactions to this. Do you think there's really going to be a huge crowd at 6 a.m. every day for Galaxy's Edge? How do you think that will affect other attractions in Hollywood Studios, specifically Toy Story Land? Do you have any experience with parks opening so early for new attractions or lands? Have they ever opened at 6 a.m. before? This feels like uncharted territory to me, and I've only been a Disney planning nerd for the past year or two, so I would love to know your initial thoughts, gut reactions. Thanks so much for all you do. Whitney's down in Memphis. And I like this question because, again, we have no idea. It's unprecedented. Because, this is kind of, Disney's opened lands based on IP. Think about Pandora just a couple years ago, but Star Wars is just a whole nother game. I mean, it's got such a huge following, and the fans of Star Wars are crazy, huge fans. They're not crazy. They're like us Disney fans. I mean, we have a passion. We talk about it 3 times a week here on the podcast. I mean, my house has got Disney it's just like my Jeep has Disney stuff on it. I love it. It is a part of my life. Star Wars fans are the same way. You got this intersection of the two. So let's kind of break it down. I think initially, yes, you will see a lot of folks there at 6 a.m. I think the thing is, it's going to be a small percentage of the on-site guests that get up to go to Hollywood Studios at 6 a.m. Because think about this, pragmatically, you're going to have to get up at 4:30 at the latest probably to get there at 6 a.m. Maybe 5 o'clock if you're staying in the Epcot Air resorts. But I mean, that is super early, and you're on vacation. Remember that you're on vacation, 5 a.m. Wake up call. But I think people will do it because if you can knock stuff out early and you get in, you can go back and take a nap. Especially, this is why you need to be on site. What are your thoughts, Pam, when you heard about the early or the extra magic hours? I mean, how's this all going to fall? We don't know, but I mean, what do you predict?
Oh man. Again, it's just really challenging to do that. But like you, Mike, I really don't feel like everyone is going to get up there and get up and be there for extra magic hour every day. It's probably not something that most people are going to do every day of their vacation. Well, I can guarantee it's something that most people aren't going to do for every day of their vacation. They're probably going to pick and choose maybe 1 or 2 times that they're going to go ahead and try to do it and take advantage of it. But you have to understand that the on-site guests are not the hugest percentage of everyone that goes to Walt Disney World. As we are all on-site fans, I mean, of course, that's from our perspective where everyone stays. Those parking lots, my friends, are very, very full of off-site guests. It's always so funny whenever we rent a car and we're in line to pay for our parking, and I'm watching the people in front of me like paying for parking, and those are off-site guests. And I'm saying to Steve, holy cow, are this many guests really coming from off-site? They are. And that many of them don't even get there early. So anyways, that's all to just say that like the busiest part during the day at some of the theme parks is going to be much busier than the mornings of these theme parks, even if everyone got up and went to the parks. So I think what you're going to have to do is pick 1 or 2 times that you really, really want to be there and take advantage of it.
That's the best advice. I mean, because the thing is, Disney, I applaud Disney for this. I think they're trying. I mean, the thing is, like, they're being, smoked out by how excited fans are for what they're creating. You know, like we've wanted our entire lives since 77, you know, since I was a 4-year-old watching Star Wars. Man, if I could see the Millennium Falcon, like I'm gonna. We're gonna talk about this on Friday. I am gonna cry. Like I am. Like I did. I just want to see it. It's my ship. I've dreamed of flying the Millennium Falcon my whole life, and there's so many people like me that want to see that. But now my kid, who associates with Rey, my 11-year-old daughter, she has a whole appreciation for the Star Wars. There's so many people that love it. So I think Disney is like, they're going to be a victim of their own success because they do things right when it comes to theming lands, when it comes to theming attractions and guest experience and the immersiveness of it all. There's a high expectation. So people are going to come down. So I think what they're doing is, I mean, the parks can't be open 24/7. There has to be maintenance. There has to be, you know, logistics and everything. But I mean, the fact is that they're giving us lots of park hours. And what that does, it gives us flexibility. Like you said, I would never do it 6 a.m. every day of my vacation, but I might take out a day to go do that. And then, you know, nap that afternoon, make the next day a day where I go to the park at 10 o'clock because I've already made some great fast passes that start at 11, you know, and I think it's what it's all about is Disney's being proactive and they're being flexible and they're giving guests options. I think that's the best thing they can do.
I agree. And I will say my other piece of advice for people traveling during this time is that I feel like park hoppers are going to become more important to get that value out of your vacation. Because if you're getting up at 6 a.m. and you spend a big chunk of that time in the park that day, chances are you aren't going to want to go back to that park later on the afternoon. You're going to want to hop to another park. Or you're going to want the ability. Let's say you get to Hollywood Studios, it's packed, which you can't really anticipate the way you could before because the schedule is just going to be thrown out the window, right? You want to hop to Magic Kingdom because it's going to be less crowds or whatnot. Make sure you look at the ability to add the park hopping to whatever ticket you're purchasing. So.
All right. Well, it's been a great show because of your questions. So thank you so much for that. Send those into Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get those right here on the air. Thanks everybody who joined us live here on Facebook. We love having your interactions and your thoughts and your questions. That means so much to us. Don't forget today's show brought to you by our friends over at virtualmickey.com, home of great iPhone apps like Theme Park News, Disney Edition. This is a great app because for one, it's free. It works on all iOS devices and it gives you the latest. It's kind of like an aggregator of Disney news, not just Walt Disney, theme park news, Walt Disney World, but it gives you the movies and the entertainment stuff. So you get all of your Disney fix in one convenient app right there on all iOS devices, absolutely free. And it, like I always say, it's better than reading the cereal box in the morning as you're having breakfast. So check it out. Great apps to turn your Apple device into a Disney device right now over at virtualmickey.com. And please do support the show with our Amazon affiliate link. Anytime you do that online shopping, we sure appreciate that. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Check us out on the social. We love talking with you. We do that all week, and it's a great time always. So check us out at Be Our Guest Pod on both Instagram and Twitter, and get a hold of me at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter as well. And of course, we got an amazing Facebook group with over 8,000 Disney fans talking Disney all the time. Facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. And also check us out on YouTube if you want to see what it looks like when we put this all together. It's kind of crazy, and you get a little pre-show too. It was crazy this week, a little live PD talk. All right, so we're going to get out of here. We'll be back again on Friday. We're going to have so much to talk about. It's a supersized show. We'll try to keep it within the normal limits, but so much to talk about. Pam got to see some really cool stuff last week. So we're going to be bringing that to you on Friday. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. That's a good one. Good questions.
I know we have some good questions. They make us think, and some of them are hard.
Those were all hard ones this week. I don't know why. Yeah, there was really no good answers, but they were good questions.
I know.
Okay, let me save that one. That's 1485. I've never had street corn in the booth near Mexico, but I think that's just for flour and garlic. But Ricky loved that street corn for some. I almost got it. The thing I really liked was the flatbread I got in that little cut through. Kind of by the butterfly house.
Yeah.
From the playground. There was like a flatbread that was some kind of, oh, dude, that thing was good. It had like some citrus on it. Oh,
yeah,
man.
it was good.
One of my favorite things. All right, let's do this. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1486 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hey, we made it to the weekend. We're talking Disney. We're having a good time and so much to talk about today. It's going to make your next trip better because Pam knows some stuff. She knows a lot of stuff. She knows tons of stuff. So let's get to it. I'm also going to share a couple thoughts on staying off site, but Pam blows me away on this one. Anyway, let's just get to the show. We got so much to talk about. Pam Forster here. She is the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday, Pam. So glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. Well, no, I'm not glad to be back, but I'm glad to be able to share my experience because it was really a very cool thing I got to do. And I have so much to talk about in terms of new things that are happening at Walt Disney World, things that have recently opened, things that are going to open, including my friends. I got to step in to Galaxy's Edge. So
was it just like,
Yeah, it kind of was.
So Eric's asking if this is going to be spoiler.
No, there will not be spoilers. There will not be spoilers. So don't worry about that. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
I got a big mouth. They didn't let me see anything. I didn't get to go. So you didn't hear it from me because I would totally, and Ricky's the worst at spilling the beans. So she's not here.
I know, right?
He is the bean spiller of all bean spillers. All right. I will say, well, I'll talk about my offside stay just a lot of Uber rides and it wasn't magical. So you got to go down and have a good time. Let's go, Joe. Like this is totally like the yin and the yang of the Disney stuff.
I know, right? It totally is.
Like all I wanted to be is at Pop Century right now, and you're in Galaxy's Edge. What's wrong with this picture?
I know, but I'll start at the beginning because it really was. It was an event that Disney brought us down. They wanted to sort of showcase some of the things that were happening, some of the things that were new, some of the things that were going to start. And we started out really with kind of a bang because we got to eat at the brand new Haleo. I know, right? Already. I know. The food pictures, I hope, were killing people. But anyways, they were great. It had so many great things from which to choose. We ate a lot of tapas. And of course, then we ended with their famous, why is the name of that?
You can't remember it.
Oh, right? Seriously. But there were so many things. And the food was just so good, from the different cheeses and the Spanish meats that they had to this really great tomato bread. I'm telling you, if you had the chance to go get the tomato bread, it was so good, to different salads and sliders and paella. There's a name that escaped my brain. They're famous for their paella. But I will tell you, in addition to all that, they brought us some really wonderful sangrias. We tried both the white and a red. The white is less sweet than the red, and I really enjoyed that. It is a beautiful restaurant too. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but there's that picture of the bullfighter there. That's when you walk in. It's gorgeous. That restaurant is awesome. So make sure you go over and have a little taste of that if you get the opportunity. It's in Disney Springs.
Let me just say, we've known this about Disney Springs since it made the transformation from downtown Disney, now a few years ago. You can go there for so long and never double up on a restaurant. For example, I've gone to a lot of them there now, but like on this last trip, because we were in a Disney Springs hotel, I tried out Chicken Guy. I went to Polite Pig and Deluxe. I've been to Deluxe Burger, but like we were just kind of in a hurry. So those are like three just quick restaurants, and all three of them were awesome. Like I loved every meal. And so you got, great places like Haleo, you got the Boathouse, and then you got like little lounges like Jack Lindsay's. I mean, it's just, you could be there for so long. It is never double up on an experience. It's incredible.
It is incredible. And what makes it even more incredible is not only are there great restaurants, but some of these restaurants are like this one. It's by Jose Andre, and he is a James Beard Award winner in terms of chefs. Now, where else in the world are you going to find that many James Beard award-winning chefs in one location? You have Chef Art Smith, you have Jose Andre, you have Morimoto, you have I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. But there's Rick Bayless, he does Frontera Cucina. There are so many great chefs there. So you're missing the opportunity if you're not trying some of these great restaurants. So anyways, that's a little plug, as if you needed it. And one more reason to go to Disney Springs, to go ahead and get some great food. We did something else when we were down there too, and that was something I've been waiting to do. We visited the Void.
Oh, I want to hear about this because I think everybody's curious about it, and few have actually kind of pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I know. So I had read a bit about it and even read some experiences, but I don't think had my head like sort of wrapped around what to expect. Now, we did the Wreck-It Ralph experience. It's the newer experience of the two. And what happens is it is a virtual reality experience. You go in, you suit up with a vest, you have a virtual reality goggle set on, and they do all that so quickly and then sort of move you right into it. Well, you're not just standing there, you're interacting. We're talking at different points, you get a gun, like that you're, launching like milkshakes and stuff at different people. You're walking, you're moving forward, you're going into different rooms. And I was telling Mike this, there's this one point in time where you're walking on what appears to be a very, very narrow bridge over this really high location. And I seriously had a hard time pushing myself to go across it. Like I wanted to like inch across it. I'm like with my foot out, making sure it's there, taking little baby steps, looking for a railing that is not there. It was really immersive. That's the best way to describe it. And it's actually a great description for this.
Yeah, I've heard it gives people the sweats, like you really do. I mean, it tricks your brain into like really feeling like you're semi in danger.
100%. Let me tell you, I forgot about the vest and the virtual reality headset. Soon after I was there, you just completely forget, and you're all in. There are smells, there are just experiences. It's awesome. So think about that the next time you're there. It's the Void. It's over by the Once Upon a Toy shop. That's the name of it, right? Once Upon a Toy.
Yeah, it's right next to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and by the old bus stops in the marketplace.
Yeah,
I ran past it every morning.
Yes.
Right around was at the Void or right there by the buses.
That's it. So that was a great experience. And we had the chance too to talk about the NBA experience a little bit, which again was not really what I thought it was going to be. It's again a really interactive experience. I know I've had some people come up and say, well, didn't they used to have that over at Universal? No, that was the NBA restaurant. This is going to be the NBA experience, which is going to give you the opportunity to sort of be engage in some of these things that people really enjoy about watching the NBA. So like Mike and I were talking earlier, you're going to have the experience to dunk like you may have, when you were younger. And I'm guessing they're going to adjust that little basketball height a little bit for people, but you're going to have the chance to do things like that and participate and get recruited and all of those things. So I'm really looking forward to that one now too.
Drafted first round by the Philadelphia 76ers. We have number 33, Pam Forrester.
I never dreamed I would be an NBA star, but now I feel like it's in my realm of, I'll be able to grasp it a little bit. So yes, we did that.
I think what's really cool about this, we don't have an NBA franchise in St. Louis. We're not big NBA fans. We got baseball and, we're right in the NFL. We got hockey. We got a good hockey team right now. But the thing is, I think that the NBA is very global, and I think this is going to be very popular because, it's very popular overseas, and, I wish they would do this with all the sports. I mean, as much as I'll go to the NBA experience because I just think it looks cool, but God, I would kill for something like this for the baseball, because I'm a baseball fan.
Right. And I think that's what a great thing that Disney Springs is doing. Like it's almost becoming another theme park destination in terms of all the things you can do and see and eat that you can only do right there. So think about that when you're considering it. One of the other things we did was Early Morning Magic over at Hollywood Studios, which again, it really was a great experience. We walked on to rides like Slinky Dog Dash and the alien swirling saucers. I always feel like I need to hold up those words so I say it appropriately.
Don't
And
use the
don't
acronym,
make any
please.
mistakes. I feel like Yeehaw Bob's there saying, don't screw it up, right? So, anyways, Alien Swirling Saucers and the Midway Mania, Toy Story Midway Mania. But that was really cool. And then we went over, and you have breakfast, of course, is included at the back lot. So you can do that. And they have some great breakfast options, I will say. They had like a charcuterie plate, and they had an egg with avocado toast and some interesting things. It wasn't just like a Mickey waffle or, you know, pancakes or something like that. So they gave you some good choices. But just not having to choose, I think, not having to use your fast pass choices on those attractions is worth something. In addition to the fact that not only do you not have to use your fast pass, but you don't have to wait in line for them really either. I mean, it was a really short line. That's worth it to me to be able to experience that. And we've heard so many great reports about this too.
Well, too, and with a fast pass, you get to ride it one time. And I think with these extra morning magic events, like, you don't just get to ride it one time. You kind of get your fix, you know. And I think, but you know, by the time you leave, you're like, wait, I experienced Slinky Dog a few times, and you know, that's what I wanted. You know, I think a lot of times with one fast pass, it just kind of leaves you longing for more.
I agree. And Slinky Dog is the kind of ride that you can ride again and again and again. So I really like that. And they also had some characters out for us to meet too, which I thought that's a great thing that you rarely see someone talk about when they're talking about early morning magic. And I will say, all those folks who like book Be Our Guest early to get nice pictures, I think booking early morning magic is another opportunity to get some great pictures. I mean, I really do. The park was sort of empty at that time, and we got to get some good things. I'll run through the breakfast menu real quick for that because I think it's enticing. Mike, this has your name all over it. They have a fried chicken and cinnamon sugar French donut bowl. So it would be like chicken and waffles.
It's like 7 of my favorite things, like whatever you just said. It was like, oh.
I know, right? The avocado toast and egg plate was something there. The charcuterie plate.
That's your millennial option right there.
I love avocado toast. I'm telling you, really, really, really do. They have a shrimp and southern grits bowl.
Oh.
Right? A Mexican corn chilaquiles.
Whoa. I mean, where's hang on. I'll be back.
I know, right? And then for the kids, of course, they had the fried chicken and cinnamon sugar French donut bowl, and then they had eggs and sweet potato barrels, which you know is Mike's favorite thing. So yeah. Sweet potato.
Actually, in St. Louis, you won't get this unless you're a Cardinal fan, but Sonics in St. Louis now have what are called Bader Tots because our center fielder's name's Harrison Bader. So now we have they're potato barrels loaded with all kinds of junk on them, like chili and cheese. And stuff.
My gosh, that's too funny.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So one of the next things they wanted to show us is some of the limited time food items that are being offered. I know I'm sorry, I'm making people hungry here at the Magic Kingdom though, in particular, right?
Here's the thing too about this. Like, is it illegal to make something that isn't so beautiful nowadays? Like, I mean,
I know.
Seriously, like everything. I mean, I thought they outdid themselves like 2 years ago with how beautiful they make these, not only sweet treats, but some savory things. But now, I mean, for real now, guys, like these things are like over the top pieces of art. Like I was almost saying like, it's a shame to eat them, whatever. I run 10 miles every morning. I'm eating it. I'm not even thinking twice, but I mean, they are so beautiful.
They are. So they are Instagrammable for sure, right? I mean, and follow me on TMFLTPM if you aren't, because I said to the Disney folks, I have enough material for like the next 3 months. I took so many pictures. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it all. But so they had all these lovely treats laying out there for us. First is the Mickey Mouseketeer cupcake, which adorable, right? I mean, it had the ears. It was incredibly beautiful. And they had those Mickey birthday push pops and the strawberry shake with the marshmallow and all of that. That's fantastic. But then they brought out the new things. Okay. The Aladdin donut. Okay. Did you see this?
Yes, I did see this. Yes. And
it has a piece of chocolate with a golden lamp on it. And then it has cotton candy that makes it look like the genie's wish. People are really, these are like little works of art. And I thought I was blown away by that. And then, my friends, I saw the Tangled Eclair.
Yes, I think Pam and I both, my wife and I both said, oh, that is what we want. Like, because I had never had an eclair till one of the media events like years ago. And I just stood by the table and just went,
I know.
It's like eating great tasting air. They never fill you up.
But this one was so great because not only did it have the yellow Rapunzel hair, right, as icing, it had little flowers and a chocolate frying pan. Could you die? It was the best. Boom, right? I mean, people are really, truly artists making up this food. But then we hit one, Mike, that when I saw it, I knew it had Mike Ramen written on it. And it was the burger that had mac and cheese on it and flaming hot Cheetos dust.
Oh, gee, but I see here's the thing. It does have my name on it, but it also has like Mike whining for the next 18 hours after I ate it. Like, oh, my intestines are just on fire. I can't, because my kids, like sixth graders and flaming hot Cheetos are like a thing. I'm just telling you, because I taught elementary school. That's all they eat. That's like a food group for sixth graders. But I realized that after about 35, I shouldn't be eating those things, but God, they're so good. And I would totally eat that on my next trip.
Well, it wasn't, I will say it was not that spicy. So I think you could do it maybe. I don't know.
I'm old, you know, like I don't know. I eat a bunch of junk I shouldn't eat, but God, that's what Walt Disney World was built for.
I know, right? So they did a good job with that. They enticed it with all that stuff, enticed us with all that good looking stuff. There's more to come because they took us on other things too. But I just want to mention for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to see Mickey and Minnie in their celebration outfits, that afternoon parade that happens every day. They're out there dancing with guests. Disney really does a great job of this parade, and it's another parade where you can actually participate. And I love that. That reminds me of the parades from past years. So make a point to see that one if you haven't yet. So that's worth it. So then we sort of headed over to Typhoon Lagoon and got a little taste of the H2O glow nights.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
I know, right? So another opportunity, and I think this is a great way to sort of extend your park day too, because these occur sort of after the park is closed. They have special foods that are available only at H2O Glow Nights, and some of them, spoiler alert, sort of are glowy or have very vibrant colors. But in particular was this unicorn shake that they gave us the opportunity to try. Sticking out of the top, of course, is one of those swirly lollipops that sort of looks like a unicorn horn, and it was this rainbow of colors. It was beautiful, really and truly. Again, another opportunity where the Disney food people are doing a fantastic job, and if that's not Instagrammable, I don't know what is. So,
yeah, I mean, it's so funny because we're in our 40s and we act like we're millennials and Instagram everything that we eat as well. I mean, like when we have a meal, for folks that have eaten with us, they know exactly what we're talking about because we eat with a lot of our listeners. We do a lot of group stuff. If you've never like been at a restaurant with us, when the food comes out and the server brings out either the appetizer, the entree, especially desserts, and I'm always hungry. Like they're always like, Mike, put the fork down. We got to take a picture. And Hannah busts out light, it's like, holy cow. But I think Disney does this because it gets us excited for our next trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, having a brownie is a treat. Just a regular old brownie is a treat. But you're in this most magical place to have a drink or a shake that looks like a unicorn and that glows because you're at an H2O Glow Night event. That this adds to the overall experience of your Disney vacation. I love stuff like this.
I agree. I think that they're enticing us, like giving us reason to come back. For a while, I was jealous because Disneyland had all this awesome food, right? But Disney World wasn't quite getting. I mean, Disney World definitely had some good food. Let me tell you, we all go there. None of us had a hard time finding something good to eat. but Disneyland was constantly coming out with these little creations, and you were like, "Wow, look at those!" And now Disney World is doing it too, and I love it. I love that part of it. That's fun, and it just really is part of the experience. It adds to it even more. So I'll move away from food for a minute.
Yeah, let's do that, please. I'm dying here.
To talk about the brand new Riviera Resort, which is located there by Caribbean Beach and is going to have the gondola transportation that we all...
Let me stop you there. How beautiful is that system now that we've kind of got a sneak peek?
Seriously. I know. It really is. I love all the different themes of all the different cars. I'm going to be like, Beauty and the Beast? Check. Stay on that one. I can't ride on this one next because I've bid on that one. I'd like to do Haunted Mansion, please.
Yeah, so. I need a little Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Let's go.
I know. So really looking forward to that. That is a beautiful station. First of all, the gondola station. They've done a great job of theming those to each of the locations that they're going to be at. This one will be shared by sort of Caribbean Beach and Riviera because it's right there in that location. But let me tell you, Riviera, my friends, which does not open until December, but it is beautiful. Now, first of all, it has the rooms, the tower studios, I believe is what they're called, that only accommodate 2 people, right?
That's interesting.
I know, right? So if you have a less expensive trip and you want to try that, go ahead. But guess what? The regular studios, they accommodate 5. So they have that pull down bed. It's awesome. I love the theming at this resort. It really does sort of feel very European in a very cool way. I love the colors. I love the things that they're doing. They did a great job with this resort, and it's located in a great location. So we can book those for you now. We have been booking them for guests, and there's a lot of availability right now. I mean, in terms of being able to get that for early December, mid-December, really.
I was looking earlier today for a family that's going out for a very special celebration, and we looked at all the options. It's a brand new resort. And we looked at the 3-bedroom grand villa. And when I heard the description of what that grand villa has, I was like, I aspire to have a house like that one day in my lifetime. Maybe even just to rent a house like that in my lifetime. It had so many beds and so many. Because really, I mean, it has, the 3 bathrooms, and it's just, it's spacious. But it's just, Disney. Here's the thing. I think with all these new resorts coming online, Disney has learned what the guests like and what works best for the guest experience. And, when you go to a new, the tower, whether it's Gran Destino over at Coronado or the Riviera, you're getting basically decades and decades worth of Disney learning what's going to make your trip amazing. And I love that because, we're always looking for new experiences, but they're great at resorts and they get better with each new accommodation.
The theming is just really, it's very immersive as always. And it's hard because this one isn't a theme that you can put your finger on, like the Polynesian. But I think that guests are going to be really pleased with all the things they're doing in the resort. It feels like a very luxurious experience, and they're going to have a great time. And that brings me to the next place, which is the Gran Destino Towers over at Coronado. And we talked about this a little bit on Wednesday's podcast, but if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, I think you know that we're all big fans of Coronado. And the recent room renovations that they've been doing, incredible. Just incredible. Those rooms are so functional and so beautiful. Well, Gran Destino Towers looks absolutely incredible too. And as we talked about, by the way, you're all going to get to experience Gran Destino Towers if you are staying at Coronado, because the check-in desk is moving from that main building there by the food court areas and things over to Gran Destino Towers. It's a 2-story lobby. It's going to be beautiful. And I think it's just going to be such a great experience. Guests are really going to think of Coronado, I think, in a new way in terms of being able to get, no matter in which location you're staying, because, there are lots of people who didn't like the ranchos because they felt they were far away. Well, guess what? There's a new bridge that cuts right across that lake. That's going to take the pain out of staying at the ranchos, which, by the way, I think is the most themed part of the resort. Yep. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. So you're going to have access to that 3 Bridges island there with another new restaurant. You're going to be able to eat at Toledo's, which is on top of the new Gran Destino Towers, and probably see some fireworks from up there because I think you get a view of the whole Walt Disney World property. So it's going to be a great location. And again, we're seeing some availability with Gran Destino Tower. So if you're interested in that, it opens on July 9th. So anytime from that point on, you can go ahead and do that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Just a little inside baseball for you because, again, I've been working with guests that are looking at Gran Destino. There's some great rates out there too for this summer. I'm telling you, this summer is a great time to visit Walt Disney World. I know a lot of folks, maybe you're waiting for Galaxy's Edge to open, but I mean, it's going to be there. And this summer, you guys know, I always go down every July. This is our big family trip. We've done it for over a decade because I was a school teacher. My wife's still a school teacher. It is just the best time to go. You can enjoy the pools. You got super long park hours. You go in the morning, you take a nap, you swim in the afternoon, you go back at night, you have dinner in a different park or a different resort. time is on your side. In the summer, there's a vibe to it. I mean, I think, people need to consider this summer. It's a great time to visit Walt Disney World.
I agree, because we got to see one of the things that, well, this is sort of the last time you're going to be able to see it this summer, and it's illuminations. I know. Had a great view of illuminations. It reminded me of all the things I truly love about it, right? It's a great show. It's a great ending to your night. It's the cherry on top of your Epcot sundae. And I love it. There's so many things I love about it. I do think it's time for a new resort, or a new show, and a new resort. It's always time for a new resort.
Oh, we got more coming. I mean, we got the reflections over on
I know. Right. So it's a beautiful show. And if you haven't said your goodbyes, this summer is your opportunity to do that. You can also look and see if you can get that the package with Rose and Crown, where you get to go ahead and get the good viewing of that, but make a point to go see Illuminations before it goes. But then let's head over to Animal Kingdom, because we did one of the more fun parts of this trip, and I got to see Kevin. Kevin was out.
I saw that sucker. I didn't. Yeah, the big bird.
He's
easy there, boy. You're gonna start Twitter.
I know, right?
Be careful. Tread lightly.
She is awesome. Very interactive. Love that. And of course, Russell and Doug are over at the new bird show there too. So I love to see them sort of, wrapping the folks from Up into the Animal Kingdom story. I think it's a great opportunity to do that. And if you haven't seen the newest, adaptation of this bird show, make sure you see it. We saw this beautiful eagle, and I'll give you a little hint. The eagle, the trainer asked us how much we thought this eagle weighed. And the eagles are huge birds, right? If you had the opportunity to see them, they're really big. And we're all guessing like 50, 60 pounds. Nope, 9 pounds.
9 pounds? I would have guessed like 20 pounds.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Huge. So anyways, and if you haven't had the chance, Animal Kingdom has some new and interesting opportunities coming up too. You have the Rivers of Light dessert party. They showed us some of those desserts. Again, little works of art. There's like a little flower pot, okay, that has a little flower planted in it and stuff. You can eat the pot.
Stop.
You can eat the little pot that it comes in.
In some states, you can eat the pot. Not all states yet. Just kidding.
The laws are changing.
Exactly. They definitely did in Missouri last election. Go ahead.
They have like a miniature version of the Tree of Life in dessert form. Anyways, really, really cute. So loved that. And there's some more dining opportunities that are coming available in Animal Kingdom, special dining opportunities. So they're doing a great job with sort of pulling that into. But now I'm going to head over to Hollywood Studios.
Nothing going on there. Come on now.
And I will tell you, leading up to my Hollywood Studios, this whole event was really sort of taking place for the 30th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. Right before I was leaving, we got an email that said, one of the things we're doing, you're going to need long pants to come past your ankles.
And Ricky and I got this text message from Pam. Guess what? We have to wear socks, closed-toed shoes, and pants. I'm like, oh, we hate you.
Exactly. And I was like, oh my gosh, we must be going into construction zone. Okay. But before I get to that, I will just tell you, there's some other things going on at Hollywood Studios that you're going to want to see. Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. We saw that. Really, really cute show. Really. They did a great job. And they have a brand new show that's on Grauman's Theater, The Wonderful World of Animation, and it features so many of your favorite movies. I love Emperor's New Groove. I think it's a completely underrated Disney movie. Saw a little Emperor's New Groove there. There's just so many of your favorite movies represented. I bet if you have one, you'll see it in that show. But I love that part. And you still get to see the Star Wars fireworks, and you get to see this Wonderful World of Animation. So it's the production show. It's really worth seeing.
Yzma. That's all I know from the Disney Cruise Line. I've never seen the movie, but yeah. Right.
Yes. Yzma was there. She was absolutely there. So the special thing that we got to do is we got to step into Galaxy's Edge. We got to walk into it. And it was really one of those moments for me. First of all, I've been a Star Wars fan since the very beginning. Just period, end of story. I'm unapologetically like thrilled with all of Star Wars. I even like the ones that were made, the prequels that were made after the fact, because I think that they go into so much of the storytelling. I like everything about Star Wars.
Me
Okay.
too.
So I just do. I like them all. Stepping into Galaxy's Edge was one of those things that I honestly, at one point, I was looking around at this small group of folks who were allowed to come into this, you know, and it was sort of a moment where I got tears in my eyes, really and truly. It just was one of those moments. And the thing I walk away with more than anything else is how big it is, first of all. It's a huge area. It just is one of those places that's going to take you a while to wrap your mind around it. It's almost like a land inside of a land, in that there's going to be different sections of it. There's going to be places for you to explore. The thing that they told us again and again is it's going to be interactive. The choices that you make matter. And
that's not good for everybody. Those
know, right?
Tread lightly, people. The stormtroopers will be after you.
But I think, I mean, look at the things we've seen them do with the magic bands, right? You know, you're getting off of Small World and your name pops up. The pictures are there. Your magic band is making things happen. It has that ability. And I would love to think about how, if the choice that you made in one of the attractions, think about how that could impact the rest of your day there. Maybe you were the pilot in the Millennium Falcon, and the choice that you made during that will cause other things to happen throughout the day in that part of the world. I mean, I just think that there's just endless possibilities in this, and it was just really, really, really cool. I know, right? Can I put another really in there? But just looking around, like, you know how Disney does this so well, right? The ground that you're walking on, so cool. The light fixtures, so cool. The rocks. Now, Disney does rocks better than anyone else in the world, right?
How crazy is it that we say that? But that is the honest to God truth. They're so good with rock work.
And these rocks are incredibly beautiful, really and truly, to see that landscape and the horizons that are being made, to know that it's going to bring in different parts of the Star Wars story, but to know that someone who's never experienced Star Wars at all is going to be able to walk in there and have an experience that is really meaningful and that they'll enjoy. I mean, like you always say, you haven't seen half the Disney movies, but when you go and experience an attraction that is focused around a Disney movie, you enjoy it just the same.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because it's the experience that Disney sells that you don't, they're so good at that you don't need to have a ton of background knowledge, but if you do, it makes the experience deeper, I think.
I know, it really does. And that's really how this land is going to be. Don't think it's only going to be for people like me that have seen every Star Wars movie a million times and know the characters in the land, and I want to go to Batuu and, you know, all these different places. Don't feel like you have to be that person. I think what you're going to find is that you're going to be able to experience it in a way that is unique to you. There's going to be something about it that you like. There's going to be places that feel familiar to you. You don't have to know the story. And I think that there's so many worlds in the Star Wars world that they're going to do a great way of making that happen. You may feel like, oh, look, this has a little bit of something from this world, but it's not going to be that world. So, I mean, Star Wars fans, I think, are going to be really, really impressed. They are, you know, down to the restaurants, the food choices that they're going to offer. That's going to be something that's really appealing. To the souvenirs, you're going to have choices in the souvenirs. How about the old make your lightsaber thing?
Or the droids. I mean, you can droids. No, oh man, that's like being Anakin with C-3PO back in like the prequel.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. So, and I think it's going to be another location that you're going to want to experience during the day, right? But you know you're going to want to go back at night.
Oh man, everything's better at night.
I know. So just the lighting's going to change. being there made me more excited, as if that was possible, but made me more excited to see it than ever before. I want to have that experience. I'm looking forward to every aspect of it. There's going to be blue and green milk. There's going to be, you know, souvenirs you want to buy. There's just, it's just a really cool thing, and I can't wait for it to happen.
So I haven't been back there yet, and I've just been reading stuff and, you know, hearing stuff and talking to you and so forth. But what I think, you know, this is my impression as just a Disney fan, you know, with no inside knowledge, is that over the past, say, 5 to 10 years, Disney has been really working with that investment in technology, whether it was, you know, starting off with things like Pal Mickey with proximity, and it would give you a little information, you know, and it was a little animated, you know, Mickey plush, and it was really neat back in the day. I love those things. I never had one, but I was always kind of wanting one, you know. And then they got the magic bands and did stuff with those, you know, and like you said, with Small World and other attractions, you know, Soarin' and stuff, where it pick up that you're there. But I think what it is Disney has been learning all this time for the last 5-10 years. And they've probably, you know, not letting us know exactly what they can do. You know, they've kind of kept it under their collar there, hiding it away. But what I see is with Galaxy's Edge opening, I think this is a chance for Disney to really strut their stuff and kind of show off in a way that we've never seen before. Because I think that they've really pushed the limits on technology, and we've gotten little tastes of it here and there, and things have come and gone. But I think this is going to be just that opportunity to really say, you know what? We are the Disney company. For the last 50 years, we've really been bringing experiences. We've been taking you to worlds you've never been before. Pandora, you know, New Fantasyland, what have you, Cars Land, you know, and this is going to be just, they're going to get to show off a little bit. And that's why I'm such a Disney fan. I'm so excited for it.
I know. And when we heard the Imagineers, when they had Imagineers who were talking to us about the experience, first of all, you could hear the overwhelming passion in their voice. They want to get it right. They want it to be something that does right by the Star Wars fans, right? They want to make those people happy with it, but they want to make people happy that have never heard the Star Wars story. And they have a passion for that. They're dedicated to it. That's something that always blows me away about Disney cast members, is that you hear the passion in their voice. Mm-hmm. And I love that. They know that they're creating these magical experiences. So that is just, you know, that's awesome. And what you're saying is absolutely true. How many people did you know who were like, Pandora, I don't want to go there? And when I first heard that it was Pandora opening, I was like, oh, like when they first announced that land, I was not one who was excited about that. But I think Pandora is one of the most beautiful experiences on Disney property. I mean, it's beautiful. The rides are fantastic. Love it. I can't even imagine what this is going to be like. So
yeah, and Disney just, I mean, bottom line is they're good at stuff like, they're not even good at stuff like this. They're great. They're the leader in the world at stuff like this, taking you to places you've never been. And like you said, Pandora had never seen Avatar. But I mean, when I got in there, I was like, God, this place is amazing. Like, it made me want to see the movies, which I still haven't had time to do. But I mean, it made me want to learn more about the world. But so many people have seen Star Wars and, like, you know, have, you know, droid stickers on the back of their car, or stormtroopers or whatever. I mean, like my Uber driver, her car was tricked out. One of the Uber drivers I had like a stormtrooper car. It was crazy. Like, there's so many people like that. So, I mean, it's just, I can't wait. Disney's going to get to show off. And this is why I go, you know, this is why I go right here.
It's true. And that's, you know, we got to see the celebration of Hollywood Studios' 30th anniversary the next morning after we had done this. And one of the things that Disney did was they showcased the number of cast members who have been there from the very beginning, because they're very aware that these are the people that make this magic happen day in and day out. And I was so glad to see that. I was so glad. And there was a bunch of them that were there for the 30 years since Hollywood Studios has opened. And that's really a credit to them. There is such a passion and dedication to all of this. And I love that Disney celebrates that and recognizes it. And I think that's what makes the park so special. From the Imagineers who are designing these special places, to whoever helps you check in, to whoever helps you order at your quick service location, the blue or the green milk. I mean, you're going to have that opportunity to interact with someone who has a passion for that. And it's really an awesome experience.
I'm so glad to hear that, because the cast members they make the magic for us. I mean, Disney brings us great environments and, you know, great attractions that you can sit in or stand in or walk through or what have you, ride on a boat. But bottom line is, it's the friendly smile from a cast member or, somebody that's going the extra mile for you, or just like you said, somebody's just doing their role. They don't have to go the extra mile, but they're serving you with a smile at Columbia Harbor House or what have you. You know what? I mean, it takes everybody, and I love the cast members. And, I think that at that event where you got to see these cast members that have been there for the 30 years, there's got to be such a sense of pride. Like, when I show people stuff around St. Louis, like, I'm proud to take somebody to Las Fuentes. That's my Mexican restaurant. I know it sounds stupid, but it's like, that's my thing, and I'm sure these cast members are like, you know what, come see this. This is my theme park. I want you to love it the way I love it. And when you have a situation like that, everybody wins.
Yeah, I agree. They do a great job recognizing it, that it's the people who are part of the story, but become part of our vacation story. I think that's something that you can't have a vacation without having that experience, right? Your vacations become part of your story as a person, as a family, with the friends that you're with. It's part of your life's story, and maybe some of the absolute best parts of your life story. There are little things I think that you remember as a child growing up, but I bet you remember a vacation.
And you remember the feelings. You might not remember the details, but you remember how it felt.
Yes. And that's what Disney is so good at, is helping you, making it easier for you, I think, to experience those feelings with the people you're there experiencing these incredible lands with. And that, for me, there's no better vacation than a vacation where I feel like I got to connect with someone, and Disney makes that possible in a way that's just not possible.
So we have about 5 minutes left, because I'm going to save my stuff for next week and we'll talk about it, because it's pretty evergreen what I'm going to share. And you've just given so much information that we're longing for. And I'm sure there's other things we're going to talk about down the line as well as the summer goes on. But as we close out today's show, you got so many amazing experiences, so many cool things. There's an excitement about Walt Disney World that we don't have to wait till August 31st. It's happening now. It's happening this summer. I'm excited. I'm going down June 25th before the cruise. And then we're going to do the podcast cruise, which I can't tell you. I'm insanely excited about that. And then getting to go over and stay a little bit over at Yacht Club and Boardwalk. And, there's so much happening this summer that I'm excited about that. But as we close out, I mean, what can you give our listeners just to get them excited? There's so many. It's exciting that every morning when you wake up and you check into, social media, there's something new happening. And that's why I love Disney. It's so fun.
It's true. And I think I keep trying to say to people, I know they think they're looking at me like, I don't know, but there are so many things to look forward to this summer. There's so many short little opportunities to things, of things that you can see. Again, I mentioned Mickey and Minnie and seeing them in their outfits. That may not seem like a big thing, but let me tell you, those outfits are cute, my friends. You're going to want to see them in those outfits. Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, I love that they have something that's going to appeal to little boys, first of all, and I know this is going to. And I felt like I was in Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy with Lightning McQueen. I mean, I was there with Lightning McQueen. He's up on stage. He is the center of the show. He's talking to us. And of course, there are some other of McQueen's friends there, like Mater was there too. But if you haven't had the chance to see Toy Story Land, that's another reason to visit Hollywood Studios, and also the Incredible Celebration, which I think is great too. Over at Animal Kingdom, in addition to, there is a new Rivers of Light starting on May 24th. So you can see that. I'm hearing great things about that. In addition, there's a new Tree of Life Awakenings. And Mike, as well as I do, that I love the Tree of Life Awakenings. That's one of my favorite things to do. I think they're doing incredible things with those projection shows. And when I say incredible things, the thing that's happening is they're making me have a lot of feelings with those projection shows. They're able to do so much with it. There's a Hakuna Matata time dance party. Hello. And you're celebrating the 25th anniversary of The Lion King. Again, you'll make sure that you get your last chance in to see Illuminations, Reflection of Earth before it goes away, but we're getting a new experience, so you don't have to cry too much. But back again this year is the Guardians of the Galaxy Mixtape Live show, which I thought was fantastic. We saw that a couple times last year. Dancing involved. There's just so many great experiences to be had at the resort. I love those resort activities that they're doing every night. Make sure in the summer you pick a resort that has a great pool. because you're going to want to be in it. And consider doing that Disney H2O Glow Nights. There's lots of stuff to do there. You won't want to miss everything going on at Disney Springs. You could eat your face off at Disney Springs. That should be their tagline. Let's just.
The thing is, like, it's not just it's an amazing dining location, but it's also great shopping, and there's a lot to do. You can go up in Characters in Flight. You can bowl at Splitsville. You can, there's just tons of the NBA experience will be online very soon this fall. You just like there's the Void, like you said. I mean, it's not just shopping and dining. I think that's what I always think of, like, oh, shopping and dining, but there's a lot of stuff to do. You can ride an amphicard at Boathouse.
I know, right? Or you can sit there and have dinner while you watch the amphicars at the boathouse.
Wave to the captains. Hey,
I know. So I think more than anything, what this experience, helped me walk away with is all of the changes that Disney is making. It's just going on and on, right? You feel like Disney can't get any better. And then they throw not one, not two, but about 10 different things that just made it a whole bunch better. So,
and how much is on the horizon too? I mean, think about that. Ratatouille, Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, a new stage show, Beauty and the Beast, Tron. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And that's why I love doing what we do. Because it's always, this is the good stuff in life. I mean, these are the things that we are going to remember forever. It's the times that we're around the people we love and the place that we are just so passionate about. I love it. I'm glad you got I know this is kind of a longer show, but Pam, you did a great job of kind of crunching it all down. I mean, the only bad thing is, God, how am I going to get through 40 days until I get down there this summer? I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
I know, that's how I feel too. It's like, I just got back and I want to be back.
It is. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. I got to send a special shout out to somebody. And it's my daughter, Paige, who graduates from Mizzou tomorrow, the University of Missouri. She's got her undergrad degree. So I'm so proud of her. Remember, when we started this podcast over 11 years ago, she was 11 years old in elementary school. So now she's a Mizzou grad, which I'm a Mizzou fan. When I was younger, I couldn't, it couldn't work it out to go to Mizzou. I went to the local school. But to have my daughter graduate from Mizzou is a proud, proud dad moment. So I'm excited to have her graduating tomorrow night from Mizzou, MIZ to Paige. Very proud of her. So excited. Our daughters have graduated college. What's up?
What's up is when we go on a cruise, our bar tab has gotten increasingly larger. That's what's up, my friend.
That's why we're doing a lot of the classes that are like $20, $30.
Yes, I know. I'm so proud of both of these girls. They're really, they're going to grab the world by the reins. So it's awesome to see.
Like I tell Paige, I'm so proud of you. Now go get a job.
I know, right?
For real. All right, we're going to get out of here. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Honestly, we talked about this in the preview. There's a lot of travel agencies out there, I'll be honest. But the folks over at the Magic for Less Platinum Earmarked Agency, they are serious about this. They care about this. I mean, you've heard it on today's show. We're passionate about the Disney. We get it. Like, these are the best times of our life, and every agent over at the Magic for Less takes this absolutely 100%. So seriously, they put themselves in the shoes of the guests. They know you want to make everything perfect, and just set up the best plan to have an amazing vacation, whether it's a Disney cruise, heading out to Disneyland, Adventures by Disney, or Walt Disney World. They, like I said, I do this full time. We want to make sure that you have just a great experience. These are the best times in life, and we're going to make sure that you are just in the best position possible. So what I'm going to encourage you to do today, like we said, this summer is a great time to go. You might say, oh, well, it's already May. There's probably no rooms left for July, June, August. Wrong. There's still rooms left, and there's some great deals as well. It's kind of a hidden secret. There are specials out there, discounts for this summer. Great park hours, so much going on. So what I'm going to encourage you to do today, drop by themagicforless.com. I don't know if you've checked out the site, but it's great. If you're just a fan and you're missing Disney, go by there. There's maps of the resorts. There's pictures of the hotel rooms. There's guides for every resort. There's activity guides. I mean, if you're homesick for Walt Disney World, it's a great place to visit. But while you're there, check out the specials and then fill out that free no obligation quote form. Let them know you heard about them here on the Be Our Guest podcast. And Angel will get back to you right away. We'll start crunching numbers, look at availability, and get you down to your favorite Disney destination right away. You've done a great job with the site, I think, because not only is it a great informational place that I send folks that don't know anything about Disney, I think, as I look at it as a Disney geek, I just sometimes I'll spend 15 minutes just going through the site and looking at all the stuff going on. I love, you're like, oh, I didn't know that about Wilderness Lodge. You know, I love it.
I think I drive Stacy crazy because I'm like, okay, we need to have this on the site because I think of all the things that I take into consideration when I plan. I think we should have this, like the maps of the resorts was a big deal. I just, there's certain things that I'm like, okay, we need this, and Stacy's always adding something new. So I think she gets tired of me, but she has great ideas for it. So yeah.
God bless Stacy and all the folks at the Magic for Less. They put up with me, and that's a lot. So I just got to say that. So no, check it out. We take this seriously. Every guest that I work with at the Magic for Less, you're a friend, because you're trusting me. We're building a relationship. And that's what it's all about. I promise you. I mean, I can't give you more than my words. I can give you my practice once I work with you. I'm going to give you 100%. I always do. So, this is the best stuff in life, and I want to make sure we always take that. So check them out at themagicforless.com. Again, use our Amazon affiliate link if you don't mind when you shop online. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod. Pam, I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on both Instagram and Twitter. And you have 3 months worth of stuff to share. Where can they follow you?
At TMFLT Pam. I try to keep it kind of easy. I am not much of a Twitter person. I do like the Instagram, and I will do Facebook. I know Twitter, right? I feel like people fight a lot on the Twitter.
I like Twitter, but I like it as, I use it more of like a personalized news feed.
There you go. I can see that. I totally can see that. But yeah, I like Instagram because I like the photos. I am such a visual person. So I think that's a cool thing.
Instagram makes me hungry.
Well, don't look at mine for a while because I will be posting other food ones.
All right. Also check us out on Facebook. We got a Facebook page. It's awesome. Facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right. Time to get out of here. I know you got to go. If you're on a run this morning, my apology. I run every morning. So I know like the worst thing we could have done was kill you with all this great Disney food talk. But hey, you know what? If you're running, go eat everything this weekend and get down to Walt Disney World ASAP to get all the good stuff. So we appreciate you taking the time to listen to today's show. We'll be back again on Monday with a great trip report. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe, and we'll see you real soon. That's a good one, Pam. Good stuff.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm gonna. There was so much to GM into that. As I started looking through, I'm like looking through my photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I did this, and then we did that, and then there was this, and then there was that. There was a lot of food. A lot of food. Like
Taco Bell.
Like Disney, when you go to a Disney event, you will never walk away hungry. So
no, and you got it. Like, yeah, it's excessive. I'm sorry, it is.
All right.
It's the only time you're like, please. It's
no more.
It's on a cruise, kind of like, but it's like, please, don't. I can't. I can't. And you're like, okay, fine. I can't. Oh, give me one more eclair.
I know, right?
Well, hey, I'm going to roll and get these edited and put them up. So shoot me that hashtag when you get to tonight. And
I texted you, I think.
Okay, I'll check it out. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
See you, Facebook. Bye.
Bye, Facebook.